All right, gamers, my name is KarQ. The servers just went down, so I thought it'd be a good idea to make a tier list, not about who's the best hero for the season. Maybe that'll be a little bit later, but an easy video for your beginner friends who are entering Overwatch, whether that's you or a friend or a mother, a father, a brother, a sister who's entering the game and has no idea where to start. Maybe they were released from the shackles of Guang Guang and Marvel Rivals or whatnot, and they're trying out the game. They don't know who to pick. This is the little tier list. Nice and easy. Again, this is just a very opinion-based thing. Don't take it too seriously. At the end of the day, play what you want. But number 1 star here will be the brain dead heroes. You can pick this hero, get some easy, good value for your team, no problem. 2, you're still allowed to drool, but you know, it's starting to get a little, you're like a little toddler. You'll still get some good value. Number 3, you should probably plug in your mouse and keyboard, 3-star difficulty. Number 4, probably should practice this hero before you bring this into ranked. And then the 5-star is the good luck tier. Like this will be a hero that if you pick this and you're a beginner, good luck to you, because I don't think you're gonna do much for your team. Keeping it simple, right off the rip, Diva. I don't think you necessarily need to practice Diva. I think she's kind of like in the middle. She's a very space-based hero where you have to be quite close, and if you just like fly in at a very bad time, you're just gonna get blown up. Now it's easy to just press your defense matrix, and it's easy to just press Q and get a bomb and maybe get lucky, but like she's very easy to feed with, and a beginner Diva player is gonna find it very hard to burst somebody down. They don't know how to fly into your shots, into the micro missiles and into the melee right away. That might take a little bit to get used to, but I think 3 stars is a pretty healthy area to start with. Domina. Wow, this is kind of hard. Where would I put Domina? I think she's kind of in the middle still. Shield. Throwing the ult, you have to land your skill shots. Your crystal charge isn't hard to hit, but you do have to have some pretty good aim to be effective on her. Her ultimate is probably really easy to whiff. You think she's easier than a Diva? So in the same vein where a Diva, if you're literally beyond 10 meters, you do nothing. Like if your aim is kind of bad for a beginner, I'm gonna assume you're a beginner, but like you know how to, you need your mouse and keyboard. You'll be all right. I'm gonna put her in the middle. Her boop is just a click button, but the rest does require aim and the ult, and you have to understand what can matrix or block your panopticon. Might be right. She actually might take some practice. I don't think you're ever like Diva. You can accidentally get kills. I actually don't think a Domina, if she presses her ult, is gonna know what's even happening. Even seasoned players right now don't even know how her ult works. You know what? I'm gonna put her in 4. All right, Doomfist. Good luck for a beginner. Do we need to go any further? Next, Hazard. I think Hazard's take some practice, man. You don't even know leap distance. You gotta know how to do your wall. You gotta wall climb. His ultimate's pretty easy to use. He's definitely a 3 or 4. When to engage and disengage, or else you're just gonna sit in the open. You can hold your block button down for a bit, but I actually think he might take some practice. I think he's pretty hard. Okay, Junker Queen. Junker Queen, you can just hold your mouse button down, throw a knife, axe, probably a 3. Mauga, 2. Hold both your primary, secondary down. Honestly, it might be 1. Press your haha and just hold 2 buttons down, and you just press, yeah, okay, let's put it at 1. Let's move on here. Orisa 2. She is also similar in the sense where you can just hold M1 for your primary fire for a hot minute, but you gotta aim you gotta spin at the right time. You gotta aim your spear. Maybe a 2. Definitely Mauga is easier than Orisa. Let's move on. Ramatra, you have 2 forms. Shield up, switch. I think as a Ramatra for a beginner, if you press your ultimate and you just hold punch and you press W, you might be doing all right. And if worst case, if you just hold block, that's actually better value than a Diva standing in the middle of nowhere. That being said, Orisa's certainly easier than Ram. Ram might have too many cooldowns for a beginner to manage, so maybe right down the beginning here. Reinhardt. I actually think Ryan is a very beginner friendly. I think you should probably play. I'm gonna frame this as you have a brand new friend playing the game. Who do you recommend? They want to play tank. Mauga, Ryan, Orisa. Yeah. Honestly, you could argue that Ram might be a pretty good recommendation. I actually might bump him down. Nah. Okay, anyways, we'll leave it at that. Roadhog. Hook, shoot. You just shoot. Press the heal. 2. I agree with 2 here. Okay. Sigma. I think Sigma's kind of hard. I might put him on 4. I think it's probably easier to get value on these than Sig. Sig is probably a 4. Winston is getting close to bad. I'm gonna put him on 4. He's gonna take a lot of practice. I wouldn't say good luck, but his ultimate, bro, Winston, he's genuinely so hard. If you do one single bad bubble, you're just dead. You're out of range. Yes, he's easy to use his primary, but now he's got a secondary fire. You got to aim to zap people from a distance. His primal is probably one of the hardest ultimates to master. You're going to transform and just jump around and hit nothing. You're going to be doing this, flying into the sky. I would actually pay to see you guys let your mom play Winston for the first time and tell her to press her ultimate. I just want to see what happens. That's what I got to see. Ball, 5. Moving on. Zarya's pretty basic. Maybe down the middle as well. Sorry, it's a 2 or a 3. I see you guys all spamming the numbers. Like, if it's give or take 1, that's probably correct. Like, if I think it's a 3 and you guys spam anywhere between 2, 3, or 4, I think that's fine. It's bad if, like, I put, like, Ryan on good luck. You're never going to do anything on him, which is totally wrong. As long as we're off by 1, that's fine, because we're going to have some mixed opinions. Now that the tanks are here, do I want to change anything? Brand new player, tell them to play Mauga Ryan if they just want to get some good value for the team. Hold your shield, throw some fire strikes, swing if they get close. I would say these are probably the 2 easiest tanks to just like do something for your team. Arguably, Diva's a little bit harder to play like effectively. Ryan is complex at the high end. It's mostly just for beginners to maybe I should have rephrased this. This is to get good baseline value. Easy to hard heroes for beginners, not necessarily to master their mechanics, but I should probably rephrase the title. Easy to hard heroes to get baseline value. Anyways, Onron to get good value out of a complete beginner. I actually think she's pretty hard. She's either a 4 or a 5 here. You got to consistently you got to not feed, first of all. You got to be able to hit stuff to light them up. She's definitely a 4 or a 5. She's actually a really hard hero for noobs. You will feed. Ashe, you just need a mouse and keyboard. It's very middle of the pack. If you have like decent aim, like you played a computer game before, you'll be all right. But like you got to be quite precise. Although Bob is a free ultimate. That's like a guaranteed to get value out of by just pressing the button. No aim or no thinking required. So maybe in that sense, you can probably put her at 2. Is that argument? I was saying 3 because that's a pretty safe option. But she's not hard to say. Just unscope and scope. Dynamite might be a little hard, but you can solve that with the perk. But just auto click. It just auto detonates for you. Familiar shooter. You know what? I'm going to bump her up. It's just aim hero. Pretty easy to get value. Bastion, brain dead for a brand new hero, I think. Much easier and much more forgiving. Well, actually, yeah. His ultimate is 3 circles. Click on the ground. Shoot. Click 1 button to transform and just hold M1. Yeah, we'll put that there. You'll get decent value out of Bastion for a new player. Cassidy, probably around the same. Cass is also a 2, just an aim hero. I'm going to put Echo immediately onto good luck. Echo's ultimate, you have to duplicate a hero. If you're a new player, you don't even know what 50 other heroes do in this game. You have to understand fly airspace. You have to memorize the maps to know how to use airspace and cover naturally. Yeah, good luck. Okay, that's definitely a good luck one. That's pretty hard. Same thing with Emre. I think he's a very basic FPS hero to get good value. You just shoot people. Definitely some cooldowns to manage, but you know, for the most part, that's not bad. Freya. Ooh, Freya is harder because she's not hit scan. She is a projectile aim, and you gotta get used to the movement and physics in this game. To take aim, aerial movement as well. She's definitely she's a 4. Genji, probably a 4 as well. 4 or 5? Would you guys actually rate Genji a 5 for a new player? Wherever Onron is, Onron should also be where Genji. You got no health packs? Okay, a lot of you guys are saying 5. I feel like you guys duoed with a friend who tried playing Genji for the first time. They're just doing this. They're probably standing in one spot just doing this the whole time. That's probably all they're doing. Yeah, they're not going to do anything for your team. Honestly, Onron is lower because her ultimate is easier to use. You press it and that will get value for your team. You can just wait until a moment and you just bird in, or you die and just res and do AoE damage and press your little dance. That's easier value than the Genji just doing this, dashing in and then just like staring into the sky. Yeah. You know what? Let's keep Genji at 5. Hanzo, not as easy as hit scans. I think projectile heroes are harder in this game to kind of like get used to for sure. We'll put him at a 3, maybe even 4 actually. He does take his ultimate is pretty easy to use. Honestly, storm arrows kind of simplify it a little bit, but I think Hanzo might be, I think he'll be all right. He's got a big projectile. It's pretty forgiving. All right, Junkrat. I think Junkrat is a very noob friendly hero. I'm going to put him at 1. He's a very, you can just spam. Honestly, you put a trap down and spam. Honestly, you don't even have to use mines, and a noob Junkrat player is going to get 10 times more value than a brand new Genji player. Yeah, people will just die randomly. I just remember 2016 Overwatch, Junkrat's just standing still and firing stuff nonstop. Mei? I think it's pretty hard for a Mei to hit the icicle, but like if they try not to do some icicles, I don't think they're going to use the walls very well or the icicles at all. So you're basically just holding your M1 down as a brand new player. She's very unique. Maybe 2. I mean, a Mei you can take a perk eventually that just like freezes them for sure. And the ult is pretty easy. Pharah, airspace hero again. I would say not quite as hard as Echo. Echo is a very opportunistic hero in this archetype, but Pharah requires a lot of practice. She's definitely a 4. You're not going to be able to hover into the air. Honestly, she arguably might even be a 5. 4 or 5. Anyways, we'll keep her at 4 for now. Reaper, definitely a good recommendation for beginners. Very basic hero for a new player. Definitely keep him at 1. Sojourn also takes practice. Learning the rail and the slides, the ult, you have to be able to be good at it. We're going to put Sojourn at a 4. Soldier 76. Very brain dead, easy hero for a beginner. For sure. This is just a classic FPS hero. Obviously, if you can't aim, this is like, I'm not saying, when I say beginner, I'm not saying like you don't know how to aim, and like, obviously we have bash and stuff in this here. Like you know how to play a video game, but like understanding how the game works and stuff, it's just, he's just a good entry hero. You know, I think that's fair. Okay, Sombra, using stealth, getting into backlines. Yeah, she takes practice. You can at least do something, like you can at least hold hack button down, I guess, and help out a team in that sense. EMP is quite simple. If you get in, just press the button and it's done. No thinking required. All right, we'll put her at 4. Symmetra. I think you can get some pretty good value as a new Symmetra. Definitely a 2 or a 3. Not a 1. I wouldn't recommend a Symmetra, but like just telling them to just put a teleporter down, put up the wall as soon as it's up, and then just like throw some turrets out and let it do the work. I'd probably a 2. Turrets are crazy. Actually, you know what? That's a good point. As long as the turrets are up in a brand new beginner lobby, like that's going to do a lot of work for you. All right, Torbjorn. Probably a very good beginner hero. The turret is the player. That's your substitute player. Just put it down, focus on learning other aspects of the game. We'll keep it there. Tracer, instant 5. If you just don't know what you're doing, you're just 175 HP, you're going to explode. No thinking needed. Next, Vendetta. Now, I would argue you would blow up as Vendetta, but she's kind of tanky for a beginner lobby. 275 HP with the block. You can just hold your... I actually think she's not as high as you would think. I think she's dominating low ranks simply because nobody knows how to deal with her, and she's tanky enough. Like Tracer, you're just randomly blinking and you don't know how to aim, you're gonna die. But her, like, it's actually quite easy. It's definitely a 2 or a 3. I would actually recommend Vendetta, believe it or not, for a newer player. Amongst the 1, 2s, and 3s, it's like, yeah, maybe we meet in the middle. Vendetta's in the 3, sure. Venture. Honestly, if new Vendetta can just trade 1-for-1s, that's actually better than so many players. Venture is pretty hard. Well, not that hard. It's definitely a 3 or a 4. It's like, would I recommend Venture over a Hanzo for a new player? Probably not. So for that reason, I'd probably give him a 4. But you can spam projectiles, and it's not hard to miss, per se. And you get a get out of jail. Yeah, you get a get out of jail card. See, this is why this is kind of hard to do. Everyone's opinions are very different. You all make good points, guys. Don't get me wrong. You all make good points. Widowmaker, to get good value out of a Widow who's not going to headshot, like you're better peppering people off with these types of hit scans. But like you can play very safe and just slowly shoot people. Like you're still doing something. Maybe 3. Yeah, and also people are different. Exactly, that's a good point. Like everyone's a new player in a different way. Some can aim, some can't aim. Some have played a game before, some haven't. Again, just to pause for all the new people who joined in. This is the kind of list, very subjective opinion list on like recommending Overwatch to a brand new player. Don't know if they've played Marvel or any sort of shooter before, but it's like, all right, what hero? I want to play a tank, friend. What should I try? That's why I just said, just play Malga Ryan if you just want to like be able to contribute right away. I'm not saying you can't play these heroes. You can be rewarded very well by playing them, but they're just not very beginner friendly. In that sense, so. That's kind of like the parameters I'm going for. And then when they say recommend for a friend, they're also probably playing in a lobby that's similarly easy as well, easy-ish. So they may not be punished as hard, and then they can just focus on learning aspects of their hero, what other heroes do, etc., etc. In any case, Ana for a beginner, honestly, I wouldn't put her at 4. I think, well, actually, for considering how easy it is to get like Moira on your team and just contribute like crazy for a new player, I feel like a new player might just miss a lot. They're going to miss every sleep. They can nade, but their accuracy with the unscoped shot's going to be pretty unfamiliar with how the game moves. Nano is pretty easy to just click somebody for sure, but like this is definitely a pretty hard support for a new hero. You're kind of right. It's definitely a 3 or 4. I would not put her at 2. Like you can drool and get good value as Ana for a new player. Nah, hell no. Honestly, for a new player, I would probably give him like Moira or Mercy or something. Baptiste a little bit easier. I think his heals are a lot more forgiving. They're more AoE. You just aim down. Putting down a lamp as a single button is not really that hard versus like hitting a sleep shot for sure. He's definitely a 2 or a 3. Definitely on the easier side of supports for a new player. Brig, probably a 2. I would recommend Brig to a new player because they can like, yeah, maybe they don't have the aura, but like they can at least like swing easy and then just click the repair pack a few times. That's already like a lot to get value on. No inspire, no value. Well, yeah, I guess if they can throw the whip shot out here and there, but the aura is not going to be active at all times. You know, you're right. Maybe I'll bump her down. I'll put her at 3. That's a good point. The new player would only heal with packs, and at that point, you might as well play a different healer. That's true. Okay. Good point. Illari. Illari's beam is really easy to use. Now, you're not going to get the big... Putting a pylon up and then holding the beam is really easy. You're just not going to be able to get the rest of it. But I mean, you know, sometimes if you have a moment, just click the enemy. Kind of in the same vein as like the easy hit scan. Played a shooting game before. Sometimes click the enemy. But the pylon does a lot of work. Very intuitive. Very simple hero. You can probably, you know, I trust a brand new Illari over a brand new Ana to heal me, to be fair. Jetpack Cat for a brand new player? Dude, I don't think so. I'm putting this on 5, dude. I don't think the cat's heals are so bad. They're not gonna know how to fly very well. Maybe they'll use the speed and they'll be like, holy shit, I'm in a rocket ship. And they're not gonna be able to maneuver. They're actually gonna get shot out of the sky, maybe. They can run, but like to heal, they have to shoot your team. I mean, it's easy to shoot your team, sure, but like, I don't think you're really gonna figure out what to bring, who to bring up, how to combo with. The cat is, this is the one that people are like the most divided on by far. Diving into them, figuring out the tether to drop them off. Okay, you know what? Maybe a 4. Maybe not quite 5 because there is no resource. And I low-key think a brand new cat player is not gonna like speed up as much, and they're gonna float literally like a floating, there's just a floating target in Kovacs. They're gonna get lost on the map. They're gonna press their E or their little AoE and they're like, wait, how do I heal my team? They're gonna probably stack behind them and just shoot them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they would know how to place cat as a support. It's either a 4 or a 5. I've seen some terrible cat stat lines, guys. 300 damage cat with 500 healing because they think they just hovering and holding somebody is like the right play all the time. I'm like, guys, that's 0 value for your team. I'm sorry. Just negative value. Juno. Would you guys recommend Juno for a new player? 1 and 2 is like yeah, you could probably try these and they're all right. She's definitely not too bad. I think she's pretty simple. Her kit's straightforward, but honestly, I would recommend Juno. I don't think I actually put her on 3. I think I put her on 2. Kiriko for beginners. I would put 3 or 4 here. Not bad because obviously if you Ofuda them, like it's fine. Suzu's pretty easy to use, but like I don't think they're ever gonna click their kunai, so they're just gonna heal bot, and then their heal bot is not gonna be very accurate. She's definitely not a 2. I actually wouldn't recommend Kiriko for a new player. She's a little tricky. And she's pretty squishy. 3 or 4 is pretty, I'm happy with that. Lifeweaver, he's actually got a decent amount of cooldowns, but like he's pretty straightforward and you will get big chunky heals. That's pretty reliable. I'll put him on 2. Life grip is a single button, but like maneuvering the thing, but the heals are chunky. Lucio, they're gonna be an aura bot. Lucio's wall riding mechanics are insanely hard. They're gonna be a floor CO. That's not gonna be very good. You're gonna be a floor CO. I don't really know if they're gonna do much for your team. They don't need a wall ride as a team, so I guess they're getting baseline aura value, but like just amp every now and then and you can get better value than a jetpack cat, guaranteed. Anyways, let's just put him at 4. Let's move on. Mercy, easy recommendation. Just want to learn the rest of the game, just play Mercy as well. Mizuki. Mizuki is also another aura-based healer, but you're not going to be able to farm your aura well. Hard to hit your chain, but throwing the hat is not very hard, and you exist with the aura, and your ult is just put it down and forget it. He's a 3 or a 4. Although if you don't do any damage, then you won't heal. You can build up your aura by just clicking your hat a few times, though. Definitely easier than Ana and Lucio to get some value for your team. All right, I can do some adjustments at the end, guys. All right, Moira. Honestly, I think these are the 2 I would ever recommend. If you want to play support, but there's too much going on, these are the 2 you just go for. Moira, hands down, is going to get so much value for your team. The heal is very chunky and AoE. Holy. Wuyong is going to take a lot of practice, dude. Actually, I would say the orbs are easier than you think. And then his little tide thing is just a ding on the ground and it just shoots a straight line and heals your team. And his ult is a point and click. I mean, you just put a beam on people and then it's kind of like Mercy in that sense. The hardest part is his aim to get value. But like, I don't really think it's that hard. I feel like somebody who plays Wuyong for the first time you just need a mouse and keyboard. You could just aim it straight. I think he's a 3. Zenyatta. Sorry, not a 1. 2 or a 3 is what I meant. Because like, as long as you put orbs on an enemy or a teammate, that's already good value and you just spam. Yes, there's positioning and you can get killed, but like, again, remember the parameters. You're in a noob lobby. You're a beginner and you're playing with other beginners. Okay, now, do I change anything? Honestly, I'm just doing this and just letting you guys just fight in the not really fight, but just yell at me from the chat room. And then I'm not gonna change anything. Just to annoy everybody. All right, that's my list. So once again, this is the end of my list. I'm just rage baiting you all. This is just my opinion with a little influence from chat on a tier list for all you new Overwatch players. Some new players in the chat or the comments here are wondering, hey KarQ, what do you think I should play? Well, if you want to play tank, go play Malgar and Rhine. If you want to play damage, play Bastion, Junk, Reaper, Soldier, Torb. And if you want to play support, play Moira and Mercy for the easiest time possible to win games now. You want to have a good challenge and get really good and have a very rewarding experience, you can try any of the other heroes. They're all very valid as well. These will be the most rewarding heroes if you can master this really well. I think row 1 and row 5 is pretty good, to be honest with you. Everything between 2, 3, and 4, you can see people here are very contested on what they think is good or bad. And once again, my perspective comes from someone who's played the game for 10 years. That might be very disconnected from a brand new player, to be honest with you, because I can't remember the last time I introduced somebody new to Overwatch because they've already all played it before. And what they have told or what they have said is easy or hard. So I might totally be wrong, but all in all, I'm going to say, go fight in the comments now.